I made about 50 bales after I fixed the plunger on this thing, and this broke. When I first saw that, I thought, I'm dead. And my second thought was, I've seen this whole apparatus for sale. And my third thought was, I can actually get one of these for 75 bucks. But I think what happened, this jumped off. So this counts how big how long the bale is. So it jumps. When it hits here, this goes down, and then that can trigger and tie the knot. And then after it's done triggering, it kicks this over. Maybe, see, it can kind of go like that. It shouldn't be able to jump off, but it pushes it this way, which is kind of hard. And it goes to here and does another one. I think what happened was this jumped off somehow, because when I noticed it was, kept cycling. I noticed this arm going around, which is the one that does the needles. And I thought, I don't think that's supposed to go around every time. And see, it kept trying to tie more knots. There's about 15 times, and then this one broke, but this one kept going. You could see there's still more there, and there's none here, because this one was broke. But what I'm going to do is, I've still got that hay in the field. I was thinking about seeing if that guy would make round bales for me. I don't know who he is, but I could probably find out. But I don't have a way to use round bales very easily. But I'm going to start anyway today and take this apart. The other thing I was thinking about was, this can go out of time. Those fingers, and I was working on that plunger, and those fingers, they can't go out of time. But this is hooked up with a chain, and I think there's a clutch here, but somewhere or another, I don't know how that works, but that clutch cannot apply to this, because this would go out of time. I'll have to figure that out better. And then it looks like this, when that triggers, it pushes this, or it allows this spring to pull this back, and it looks like this might be a blocking mechanism right here for the plunger, so that it doesn't hit these needles if it goes out of time. But boy, that seems like that would be a crazy situation. But at any rate, I don't want to do it, but I don't have too much choice. I don't have any choice to speak of. Part of the problem, even if you could find somebody with one of these that I could borrow, even if you could, which is a long shot, how are you going to transport the darn thing? It doesn't go well on the highway, modern highways. So anyway, like I say, I'm going to take this off, bolts here, take those bolts off, take these bolts off, and then this whole assembly comes out. This is a bolt here and a bolt here, which is supposed to be loose, which they are. And then good God, something's getting me. I've been stung before, so I'm a little nervous. Also, I got something here, but I don't think it's a bug. Although I do have a spider that rides with me in the tractor. I'll show you. He's on this roll bar. He's got a web, and when I'm riding, you can't see it. It almost looks like he took that web down, but I think maybe he puts it. But he's right up there. See. But he's got pointy feet and striped. It's not uncommon coloring. But usually there's a web here and he rides in the web when I drive. But I don't think he did this to my eye. I think it's a blood blister. I got troubles, but I don't have anything serious. Just everyday stuff that I brought on myself for the most part. The thing about this machinery too is, like, theoretically you could work on this machinery in the winter, but it's not broke, and so the only thing you could do is oil stuff really in the winter, or you could, I don't know. Anyway, you don't. I didn't work on it at all in the winter. I got too many other stuff to do. So anyway, I made all this hay with it, plus a few more bales. I made this, and then I went back to make some more, and that's when it broke. It's fairly good hay, I think, and it's cutting. See, I sharpened those blades, so it's cutting pretty well now. But the goats really, I don't know. The goats like weeds, so they don't even like this grass. But I think they'll eat it. It's weird in the winter when you really would like to have some nutrition. It's limited. And in the summer when you really don't need it, it's everywhere. I got a goat that gets out, that mama goat's here over there. She gets out and finds the best weeds. Some guy's on the internet saying this is a 2-hour job replacing this here. And I'm like, you know, there's no way, particularly with the old equipment. New equipment, you know, even then I don't think so. But here's the thing of it. Originally this was, I think, put together with these kind of screws. Well, somebody put this on backwards, so the screwdriver head's underneath. Well, there's no way to get to it. You know, not easily. So, you know, if they'd have put it on correctly this way, you could unscrew it. You could put a little wrench under there to hold it. But I'm just going to cut it off, and then what they've done too, they've replaced some of it with these, and that's what I'm going to do. Just use a little 1/4 inch. You can get a wrench on both sides of it. Actually, that only took a minute, but I had to go get the grinder. Got me to thinking, this clutch must go all the way through to the plunger, and that's probably the most important purpose of this clutch anyway, is to clutch the plunger. So what I'm saying is, when this clutch slips, this doesn't go out of time, because this gear is totally attached to the plunger. It can only go out of time if it skips a tooth, is what I'm thinking. Or, I don't know what this is either. I don't know what that is. But it just can't slip. It could possibly shear, but it can't slip because it would go out of time, and that would be disastrous. As I continue to take this apart, I think this is day 2 or 3, at least 2. And there's just a cotter pin here, and this slides out, and this slides out. There's a different shaft. This here just has teeth part way. That's for timing. Oh, I also was going to say, I was trying to mark the timing on the chain and what all, and I looked it up. It doesn't look that difficult. So on this end, I took that off, had to, you know, spread it a little bit to get it out. And then you've got this clutch. I just slid that out. Oh, the clutch is attached to this arm by 2 bolts, so you got to do that first. And I was looking at this chain, because this chain in particular is way loose. And this one's adjusted all the way. It's okay. It's adjusted all the way. And I couldn't really find anything on YouTube. But it looks like there's a couple of links here have been done. Oh yeah, I disconnected this, just slides out, and there's a spring there. Anyway, that's about all I got to say right now. Well, one other thing I might point out, you know, this one broke. I'm not sure why this one broke. This one quit having string. The string broke, so it didn't have string. You can see right here, there's no string here, but see there's a lot of string here. It quit. Somewhere along here the string broke and it quit. Or maybe this broke. But anyway, this one here's got all, I can't move it. It's got all kind of string wrapped around it. But this one didn't break. But I'm gonna get some, not new parts, but a set, but not everything, not these little gears. But this little gear's kind of got a little bit of damage. But there's no force on these gears. I'm thinking I can just kind of clean them up a little bit. It's a little ugly right there. I think if I clean them up a little bit, they'll still work, as long as the tooth isn't broken off. Which we'll see when I get that one out. I don't know if I can buy those little gears or not. You know, I think I figured out what happened. Because when I went to inspect it after the failure, this rod was off this roller. So when that rod's off that roller like that, it's a continuous trip. So how can the rod get off the roller? So normally, so what happens is, this is a trip. That's trip, and what's supposed to happen is, or what has to happen is, this kicks out, and I think it's this here. When this comes around, and then on this roller, it pushes it this way enough and long enough that it drops. So it has to, but it's got plenty of time. It goes all the way around. It's got plenty of time. It just pushes it out this far and keeps it pushed out until it drops. I don't know if I have the camera on. Let me do it again. So that's trip. And then this roller hits over here, pushes it long and out, and keeps it out long enough that it falls all the way to there. But what must have happened is it kicked it out like that. It kicked it out, and I don't know. I'm thinking it really shouldn't. I'm thinking this, when this hits here, but it looks like it maybe would kick it out. It shouldn't kick it. It shouldn't kick it more than the edge of this here. But another thing I'm looking at, since this is loose here, if this was snug there, then it maybe couldn't go this far out. It would be kind of trapped along this plane. And so that's what I'm looking at when I put this back together. I'll try and get that closer. I don't know what this is. I don't know if there's something that's supposed to go there. I need to look that up. Because I don't want this to happen again. And I can watch, but even if I catch it and see that drop down, as soon as it drops down, I pull the PTO and stop motion, it's still going to rotate because it's got this flywheel. This flywheel is going to keep it rotating, and it'll still go through 2 or 3 cycles probably. Another thing I noticed, this thing here is supposed to stop the plunger, and there's a guy on YouTube that was talking about how this was engaging for him because it wasn't timed correctly, and it looks to me like I tested it earlier. And see, when this goes forward, then this is allowed to come. The spring is supposed to pull it, but I went and tested it earlier and it doesn't move. So I need to I need to get that working, although I would hope I never have to use it. He had a bumper on his, which I don't think I have. He had a bumper on his arm. I don't have a bumper. But if it's in time, it's not going to happen anyway. The one thing that could happen, if the chain was to break, it would have to break after the trip, is what I think. After the trip, when the needle is up, the chain breaks, whammo. But if the chain breaks when it's not tripped, which is most of the time, of course, then you're gonna stop. Your feed's gonna stop. So anyway, I don't see anything completely broken, ruined yet, although I don't know why, the way that string's wrapped around there. And then this one doesn't have any string wrap, but it seems to have damage, and it broke. This broke, so I really can't, I'm really not sure, but all I can do is clean it up. I'm not going to get these gears on the new thing. I'm going to get a shaft. Get the shaft. And then look, I hadn't even seen this part. So I had seen this part. Because see, this one stopped. The string broke, I think. The string broke back in after this. See, and then I made some hay. Well, there's one there. So I was picking up hay. And I was looking back and I was saying, this thing was going around. I was saying, I don't think that's supposed to go around like that. And then I probably stopped. And so it did this a bunch of times. Nothing over here. And then I guess I made a little more hay. I picked up some hay and traveled a little bit. And then this one. And it's that thing, when it makes a knot, it twists it. That's why it's twisted like that. But nothing over here, but this is the side that broke. Don't make no sense, but hopefully I can get it back together in time to, before it rains, so I can make that hay. I'll just show you how much hay is sitting in the field, all raked and ready to go. I drove for 5 hours to get these parts. I really only need, I've showed you this, but I thought, well, I have extra. Even if I just need a washer, I can rob it. And I might use this here for sure. And these gears look really nice, but I don't know how you change them. I probably won't change them. This thing is broke. I can't use that one. And I can't just plug it in because there's missing parts. But and then they say you're not supposed to leave it out in the rain, but I'm thinking this has been left out in the rain, and it still swivels. I'm not sure. But when I first bought this baler, I painted this knotter with a liquid wrench, and I've been thinking too, what is the best state? What is the best condition for this knotter? And I would say probably dry, but the thing of it is, you got all these grease zerks, it's going to get greasy. But at any rate, I'm going to go ahead and power wash it right now so that I can work on it without getting my hands dirty, and also so I can see things better, how things are supposed to work and this and that. And where's the new? Well, I haven't taken it off yet. But I think I don't think they've changed these knotters over many years. I was looking in the internet, it seems like it's been the same knotter for a long time of years. It's kind of funny, this crud does not come off easily, because I don't have a real strong pressure, but It reminds me a little bit when I was at work and I was assigned the task to clean this tar covered thing, and I thought pressure hot water would be the way to go. And it just pushed the tar, it didn't knock it off. And then this guy come in, they said that's right, we'll take care of it. And this guy come in with this giant ass power washer, and he cleaned it with cold water. Here's some real thick stuff right there. Let's see if I can get that off. And basically that's a no. Oh shoot, there's a washer. Here, let me see if I can wipe it off. It's kind of stuck on there. But it's... Putting the gasoline to it now. But that crud still doesn't come off very easily. I was working on the knotter and putting it back together, and I discovered the knife arm was bent and not usable, and the dealer wanted nearly $300 for it, $280 something, and I ordered one off the internet for $150, less than $150. But now I had ordered the owner's manual, and it came in. I have the owner's manual now, and it says okay. It shows one thing. It shows the dimensions that it's supposed to be here, which I need. But the other thing it shows is you bend this. The knife arm is a malleable casting. Knife arm is malleable. It must be bent to obtain the adjustments desired. So it shows you bend it like this. So I'm going to get back out there. I guess I'll take the camera with me this time. I was kind of thinking I'd be able to just put it back together and everything would be okay. So I didn't have the camera. I don't have a lot of power. Maybe I'll plug it in first. I have to feed the animals yet too. So the way that book says to bend them is you install them and then you bend them. But I feel like, this is the good one, I think. This one's okay. And this one is bent. And it looks to me like, I just feel like it's bent so much in here compared to this one, lays pretty flat. And also this knife is kind of going that way, and this knife is cutting, pointed in the... So anyway, this still looks a little different, but it might even be bent more than, because look, I think it needs to be more like that even. But anyway, my plan is to try and bend it on here using these C-clamps first. Get it similar, get this one more similar to this one before I try to install it. So it seems like it's squeezing right down. I don't know if it'll stay that way. That's one of the tricks of bending something, that you can bend it, but then sometimes it just goes back to its original position. See that?
I don't know if that'll work or not.
What if we're going to try heating it, see if we can make it stay. We can kind of bend it, but it bounces back.
And once it's hot, still
I was thinking about if it would be tempered, if it would make it brittle.
When I was welding, we used to always just dip it in water. Then we do the bend test, see if it breaks. Looks pretty good.
I don't know.
Don't look too terrible.
We bent it, but I don't know if we... You do it like that, then the knife is wrong, but the pin, we might be able to, that knife might bend right there more easily without heat. This part here is thinner. I'm thinking when they want you to bend it, that's what they want. That's the part that bends. So I put the new part in place, and it's looks like it's pretty much the same as this part that was right. And here's the part that was wrong, that we bent and bent and bent, and just ended up in the same place we started. And basically it's curved too much that way. And we even bent this. This thing was... Let me see if we bent that square, I think. But anyway, there's no more messing with that. I bought a new part. I guess it's gonna work. I'm rather gun shy about this whole situation, but I have to get it back together. I raked that field today, and it's going to rain on Monday. Today's Friday, so I got to get it back together. We have to do the timing, but I'm not real concerned about the timing. I fixed this thing, which is supposed to block the... So right now it's in the position that'll block that plunger. Oh, there's something I got to do in here. I got this crowbar. So if these needles go out of time and they get in the way of the plunger, this drops down and it blocks that plunger and saves the needles. And I guess there's a shear pin that's supposed to shear, which probably on this flywheel, which I don't know if it's really a shear pin or something else at this point. But one way or another, I've got to get this thing back together. I did take a link out of this chain, so it's a little more correct. This four-headed bolt holds a certain wheel in place back in here. I'm going to use this socket. I'm going to use this extension as a socket and then turn it with a wrench. That works if I can get it tight enough. It's also got a bolt that tightens down on the other bolt. I don't think that's maybe necessary. Anyway, I don't think I can get to it. Might be able to put a socket, reach a socket over that square, like a deep socket. I wish I'd have checked out what that size nut was now. It was 3/4. Well, I'll tell you, I am a handyman. I'm trained as an engineer and I have the MBA, but the main thing is I'm a handyman. And I'll tell you what, this thing is challenging me. It's like a jackhammer tied to a sewing machine. And I don't even want to particularly get into too much because I barely know what I'm doing. I'm reading this instructions. I've got this book. You can get one of these books. It's not a heck of a lot of money. They printing it. I guess they're printing it under license. And set the timing. So those needles, apparently those needles go in They start going in when that plunger's going this way. But then, by the time the needles get to the plunger, it's starting to go back, or it's hit top dead center or something. I suppose you got to push that hay, you know, before the needles come, so the needles have a place to go. But, you know, and here's a timing mark, and I don't know why there should be, seems like there should be another timing mark at this point. Well, this turns. So the timing mark, you put this up, you put this arm all the way up. Here, I'll just do it. Incidentally, there's an arrow on here if you wonder which way it goes. It's not too hard to figure out, though, because if you go the wrong way, this ratchet. Anyway, so here we go. There's the jackhammers going, pushing that hay. It's a little bit hard with one hand. Okay, here it comes. So it's pushed the hay. Now it's coming home, coming back out of the way. There's the timing marks right there. So really, it's very peculiar because I had it before it sat still. Now sit still. Yeah. The other thing I did, I had a wrench ready to go to put in here, and then it sat still. Now, damn it! Get back! See how? All right. So there's that. So I'm going to put this wrench here. Oh, now that's odd. That's very odd. I had a hole before. Well, that confused me. A lot of stuff confuses me on this thing, because I had a hole right here before when this was up there. This can ratchet. I think this is tied to that, though. I don't get it. Maybe it was this hole here. It's a little bit in front. See, it's a little bit in front. I thought I had it lined up perfect. Well, anyway, it's close. It's close to being lined up. I don't understand that. And there's the timing marks. Well, see, the timing marks aren't really perfectly done, because they're perfectly lined up now, but this isn't perfectly lined up. So if I put this perfect lined up, it's going to go a little bit that way. I'm not sure. I'm just really not 100% sure. But you're never going to get timing marks exact. At least that's and you know, everything's so dirty and old, but I think that's it anyway. And you can only move this cog one, or the chain. And I felt like it was better to move the cog. So I don't know, I'd rather be behind top dead center than ahead of it. And I think I am ahead of it. But it was as close as I could get those timing marks. I'll tell you, like I say, don't go by me, because I don't know what I'm not an expert on this thing. I'm reading the instructions. And then I got this this thing here stops the flywheel when the needles go, and it's on a spring, so it has a tendency to push this. This could push the needles in the way, so then you've got this brake, keeps it from moving, which is kind of crazy. The whole thing's crazy as hell. And then this has to be timed. Everything has to be timed, and it's like, God, it's so many different things. But I pretty much got it together now. The main thing now is just try it, I guess. I'm thinking about I don't know what I'm thinking about. Oh, one other thing I could say. The guy that had this before, he had this locked out. This thing that stops the, you can't see it now because it's not sticking out, but it'll stop this arm. I've seen other ones that have a plate there to soften the blow. Let's see, it'd be on this side. But he had locked it out. So I got it going again. But the idea is if that thing if that thing stops the plunger, then a shear pin's got to shear. So I've got a pin here, which I don't think is the one that would shear. And I got a pin here. And I don't know, where's that pin? Is it this one? No, it's not that one. I was just looking at it. Oh, it's there. I see it. It's right here. And I don't know if that's a real shear pin or not. You can buy them, but you could also use a fake one. So I don't know. I guess you can get at it. If you turn it around, you can get at it from this side here. So that's it, and that kind of looks like a regular bolt to me. That kind of doesn't look like a shear pin. But I don't know if you can tell very well. It might be. The nut's a little different. It's kind of rounded. See, this is what kind of bothers me. That plunger's at top dead center. And those needles are in there. But there's a pocket for them. So I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. The plunger's clear up here. The plunger's way... Oh, that don't seem possible. The plunger's way up here. But see, that thing's out. That's that thing to stop the plunger. Okay. That thing right there. I kind of don't understand it. I don't know. I guess I should leave it where it is. It's apparently what it's supposed to do. Now those needles are coming in. They're bringing the twine in to tie the knot. It's going to sit in here. See, those needles are way stuck out. This one's a little tight. I've been trying to loosen it. That's as loose as I could get it. Now it's going backwards now. No, it's going forwards. Is it going forwards? Yeah, it's going forwards. And one thing too is, see, that thing's still got to get out of the way. That's one thing about... Uh-oh. Something hit something. What was it? Sounded like this. Sounded like this hit something. I just put this on, so looks like it's hitting right there. That ain't too smart. That ain't too smart at all. Oh man. I put 3 washers in there to hold it out, which is kind of a trick in itself. I hung them on a cotter key from this side and then pushed the nut through. I'm thinking about halfway measures, and I don't know any halfway measure. I wonder if these are right. They might be too tight. I should check that. This thing shows you how to run the... See, I'm missing those 2 things. There's supposed to be a couple little things under there. I think I'm missing them. I'm going to go check. I know they go on the back side of the... Let me go check. Oh, there is things in there. I kind of don't think I put them through there. I kind of don't think I saw them before. Yeah, I kind of don't think I did it that way. I remember thinking, should I go under here, or should I go directly to the needles from there? From there. So I don't think and I did go under, but I don't think I ran it through those before. But this is the way you tie it up here, and then it threads itself. So, now another thing, technically, I need it to be threaded before I make a bail, because that's the way it is. Well, first thing I'm going to do is hook up the tractor and run it without the needles, make sure everything runs. Geez, I picked this thing up. It was on the ground. Picked it up to put it back together so I could hook up the tractor. That thing went through a whole revolution. It went through a whole revolution while I was holding that in my hand. That was not good. And it'd be cool if you had a brake. Well, never mind. One other thing, I had my employee's a welder, so I had him make a special thing that should help me, because I've been using a radiator clamp. So this, I'll be able to put this through and then just tighten this screw to hold the PTO on, and I should have one of those somewhere, I do, but I don't think I'm going to worry about this time, right at this minute, as long as I can get a few threads on it. But I do need to worry about it, because if this comes off, it's ugly. Although it'll ratchet up there. This doesn't have to turn. That'll ratchet, and that can keep turning. But still, it's ugly if that comes off while I'm running. Now, I think I got another problem. I think that has to be lower. You wouldn't think so, but I think I've got to get my farmer jack, take it off that jack, or I could use this, put it on that jack, because I think I've got to be lower, and that's as low as that jack will go. See, I thought I'd show you because I didn't think you'd believe me. Probably if I parked it in a different way. Well, actually, no, it needs to go up. No, that implement needs to go up. Let's see if I can do it. Well, yeah, I had to raise it up. Well, let's see that. I guess the only other thing would be after I hook it up, can I get that jack to flip out? We'll see. All right, so I'm ready to engage it. I'm just going to engage the plunger. It won't run the needles until this goes to here. I have to decide on that later. There's really nothing I can do, though. I've run it through with my hand, and this is as slow. It can't go any slower than this. There's no way I can stop anything once it trip it. In fact, I'd probably back off. I think I'm going to trip it and then back off. I don't know anything else I can do at this point. I am really worried, but there's nothing I can really do. It's either going to work or it ain't going to work. It worked. Leastways nothing busted. Yeah, I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. The string is up, the string is bale right there by the twine holder. Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. Now I gotta make a bale. See, I shut that off a little bit ago, and it's still spinning. You can't stop it. You can't stop it on a dime, except those shear bolts are supposed to shear. They have to. Well, I guess there's nothing for me to do now but try to make a bale. So that's a pretty good bale. It's just a little more on this side than this side. But it's not falling to pieces. The knot is a knot. I wouldn't mind if it had longer tails. I've been told I can adjust for that. But it's holding, so I guess that's all I need. It's not a dense, heavy bale. It's probably about 30 pounds, but I'm old, so I don't like it to be heavy. And let's see, this would be the cut side. I don't know if it's cutting real. It's not cutting very well. Is this the cut side? I must have turned it around somehow. So anyway, I wanted to say one other thing. So I got a little goofy little field here, which I wish it was. Well, anyway, so it's hard to turn this thing. It's almost impossible to back it up. I know you think, well, I can back up a trailer, but so what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to come in the middle. I'm going to come in the middle and take a row out of the middle, and then I'm going to take a row off the end, and then the next time I'll come and take the far side of the middle, and then the near side of the end. So I need to figure out where the middle is. That way I don't have two rows real close together. You can't turn at the end. You can't turn that close. Right about here looks like if I come in here and take this row, and then another problem I have, there I had one that didn't tie a knot. That was probably the first one. Another problem is these bales are in the way when it drops them. I might need to get my other tractor and my trailer and pick up them bales. I've been just moving them. I can move them out of the way too, maybe. One thing, I'm not in a big giant hurry. Every knot tied is a miracle to me. Full moon rising. Tell you, that thing was just over his farm over there a minute ago. Well, not a little more than a minute, 10 minutes ago. So anyway, I made 54 bales, and for the most part, it didn't miss any. It did make one mistake and got jammed up around here. I had to cut it off with a knife, and it missed one bale, but I tied that bale and saved it. And but then I was looking at this one, and then I was watching too. After it did that, I thought, gee, there's a little too much space there. I just noticed. It's not supposed to be spaces. But so I was watching, and I come back and check it. It was all right, but look here, it double tripped. In fact, let's see, this one tied a knot. So it's like it finished a bale, did one slab and tripped again. This side didn't tie. How would it do that? So this thing, when it gets to here, it trips, and then it should fall down all the way to here. But maybe, I don't know what this is for incidentally, but maybe it only fell to about, I don't know. If it double tripped, it seems like it really didn't fall at all maybe. Because the plunger had time to do one slab, the plunger push, so it made the bale. This is the beginning of the new bale, this is the end of the bale. Plunger push, one thing, so really this thing didn't drop at all. It just sat there. It just sat there in trip position. This thing is like a sewing machine tied to a jackhammer. But I've been watching it, and it goes whoop and it stops dead in its tracks. This is a brake, which I tightened up because I don't want this backing off. So one thing too that helps it to keep from backing off, I think, is this is straight on. That needs to be straight on. So the force is kind of pushing straight into that axle. I think it's supposed to have this bend, but I'm not for sure. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and post this. Until the next tragedy.